On.
Hi everybody, we're back. We're here now with part 2 of our Arabia Islam unit. Once again, there'll be 3. The test will be early next week, and there's 3 parts. And where we left off, anybody remember? Ooh, no hands, huh? This is tough. Sammy Karras, do you remember? He's thinking. Yeah, okay, you guys need to pay attention and take those notes on the first part. We left off with the creation of the third religion, monotheistic religion called Islam. Okay? We now have Islam created from Muhammad. Okay? And we see then, with Muhammad leading this new faith, we then see a new follower of Islam called a Muslim. In other words, when you say, is somebody following the Muslim faith, that's incorrect. The faith is Islam. A follower of Islam is a Muslim. Like Christianity and a Christian. So it isn't the Muslim faith. People make that mistake all the time. It is not the Muslim faith, it's the Islamic faith. Follower of Islam is a Muslim. Follower of Islam, Muslim. Okay? And after his fleeing to Medina, if you remember that, the Hijra, he was forced out of his hometown into hiding in Medina with his followers. In 630 AD, he returns to Mecca in triumph. He acquires enough followers.
Who's he, Mr. Klein?
Muhammad. Okay, Muhammad once again, good question. Muhammad once again acquires enough followers and returns from Medina to Mecca. Remember, Mecca is the Holy Land. Mecca is that crossroads for travel and trade with the Bedouins. Mecca is the hometown of Muhammad. He returns from Medina, where they kicked him out of Mecca. He now goes back to his hometown in victory. It's like he shall return. He returned. Like Colby MacArthur, right? In 45 in the Philippines. Okay. Then we have what he did, which is very significant. He destroyed the wall. Remember the 360 idols? He destroyed the wall, but he left one. He left one stone called, once again, as we talked about, the Kaaba. The Kaaba represents what's the name of God in Arabic? What's the name of their one God, this monotheistic religion? I'm looking. Trinity, do you have it? Good. Very good. Allah. Allah is that true God. Okay? 2 years later, a couple years later, he dies in Mecca. Of course, now he is the representative. He is the epitome of the Islamic faith. He is like, if you want to, lack of better comparison, Jesus Christ for the Christians, Muhammad is for Islam. Okay? His teachings and writings are contained in a book. We have the Torah, the Talmud in the Jewish faith. We have the Holy Bible in the Christian faith. We have the Quran in the Islamic faith. I put a Q here because you're going to see in Arabic, once again, there's Arabic writing, the Quran, you see several different pronunciations and spellings. In Western civilization, we generally use this. Sometimes it's spelled with a Q. Okay, the Quran is the holy book, the Arabic holy book containing the teachings of Muhammad and what it means to be a good Muslim. Okay? In these writings, in this holy book, the Quran, okay, that contain these words. That's why we believe the Holy Bible is sacred. Well, Muslims look at the Quran as like part of God, if you will. That's why burning the Quran is so threatening to the Islamic people. In the book, we see what we've heard of, the 5 pillars of Islam that are contained in this holy book. This is in reference to what it means to be a true follower of Islam. Okay? And the 5, and I will say this, I know that I didn't write it quite as big, but I think you'll hopefully be able to get these down. Remember, go back. You can always pause. You always should be able to get all this information down in your notes. Okay, there's no reason not to. Okay? All right, the first one is you have to proclaim your faith. This is going to be a huge one in our next unit or our next video. We're going to then see what exactly this means. In other words, how did the Islamic faith grow exponentially so fast and so quick? We're going to find out next time. So in other words, to be a follower of Islam, a true Muslim, you have to proclaim your faith to Allah and a disciple of Muhammad. Number 2, you have to pray 5 times a day. And we'll get into that a little later on the third one. Obviously, you pray toward Mecca, to the west, if you're over here. Number 3, or if you're in the Arabian Peninsula. 3, almsgiving. You need to give to the poor. You need to provide for those that are less fortunate and give to the poor. Almsgiving. We see this in a Christian faith as well. Prayer, faith. These things aren't any different. Look at fasting. Okay? We see fasting during Lent in the Christian faith and over Passover. Here, the fasting for Muslims is 1 month, and it's called Ramadan. And during sunrise to sunset, S up, S down, sunrise to sunset during Ramadan, this is where you would fast. We see in the Islamic NBA players during this month of Ramadan, they would lose 20 or 30 pounds from Kareem Abdul-Jabbar all the way down. We see that. Hakeem Olajuwon during the finals once with Houston, he was very, very weak because of his practice with Ramadan. Fasting. We see it during Lent as well. And lastly, if you can, you need to make a pilgrimage to Mecca. A pilgrimage, and we're going to get into this more in our middle age period. If you're taking a pilgrimage to somewhere, you're going somewhere for a purpose, you're then called a pilgrim. Okay? We see pilgrims by the thousands converge into Mecca and observe their faith, specifically going where? To the wall to see the Kaaba. That is what we see in Mecca. Where do the followers of Islam pray? We see a synagogue in Judaism. We see a church in Christianity. We see a mosque in Islamic faith. So we have a mosque, a synagogue, and a church. We see the mosque where the followers of Islam, the Muslims, would pray. And typically they're called to pray. In Eastern countries, you hear the crier or the bells ring out, and that means it's time to pray one of these 5 times. And they then will stop what they're doing and pray. I've taught a couple students here at Loyola that actually were Muslims, and they did that as well. We see that throughout the country in different schools, high schools, where students take time and actually do that. I don't know if Christians can get by with that, but we certainly see it with Muslims. And I've seen it myself. And they practice then for their service in a mosque. They don't have a traditional priest or rabbi, but yet they congregate and pray and chant their prayers generally on what we call a prayer rug, which we'll get to next time. Okay, our third video we're going to have next time, and that'll wrap up our unit on Arabian Islam, and then we're going to be poised to move into those early Middle Ages. And I think you're going to appreciate that because we're going to then be able to study one of the fiercest fighting machines the world has ever seen. And you thought Attila the Hun was tough with the Huns? I think not. What's that fierce fighting machine? Let's just say they wear purple. Have a great day, guys. Miss and love you. Talk to you later. Bye.